Hi, Brad Henderson here, looking forward to another great summer of magic and hypnosis at Camp Echo. So excited, in fact, I've got a special present for you, a card trick that you can perform for your friends and family. I hope you enjoy the world's greatest card trick. Hi there, I'm here with my friend Maurice. Maurice, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Maurice, I'm going to show you a card trick, a great card trick. Probably the world's greatest card trick. Okay. I know that sounds like a lot. For this to be the world's greatest card trick, two things have to happen. One, you have to pick a card in an incredibly fair manner. And two, I have to find it. Now, the fairest way for you to pick a card is just for you to think of one. But the problem is, people, in the spur of the moment, they can only think of the obvious cards. Ace of Spades, Queen of Hearts, that's not very fair, is it? Right. Now, I could spread out all the cards and have you pick one at random, and that would give you a choice of every card, but then I'd see it, and that's not too impressive. Most magicians would have you pick a card like this, but maybe you'll think, oh, he's sticking one card out a little further than the rest, or maybe they're tricky magic changey cards, and that's not very fair either. So I think the fairest way for you to pick a card is for you to pick the card totally at random, but yet for that randomness to be under your complete control. I'll show you. Cut off a small group of cards, please. Okay. I'm going to keep my head turned. Count those cards for me quickly. And remember the number of cards you cut off.
Okay.
Got it? That's pretty fair, right? Mm-hmm. You cut one card more, one card less, we'd have an entirely different number.
Right.
I'll show you the cards one at a time. You remember the card at your number. So if you cut off one card, you'd remember the Ace of Diamonds. If you cut off 3 cards, you'd remember the 3 of Diamonds. 4 cards would be the 3 of Spades. You got it? I'm going to count through about 20 cards because I think you got a little bit less than that. Ready? Okay. So just remember the card at your number. That's card number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Did you get one? You got it? Great. Now, let's think about it. You cut off a totally random number of cards.
Yeah.
You remembered a card at that number. There's no way for me to know what that card is, but you saw the card, so it's not like I could have changed or influenced or other. So if I were to find your card right now, that would be a pretty great trick.
That would be great.
If I could find your card right now, that might be one of the world's greatest tricks. And do you know what you would call the guy who could find a card under these conditions?
No.
The world's greatest magician.
Okay.
But I don't want to make that claim about myself. No.
Okay.
So instead we'll ask the cards who they think the world's greatest magician is. We'll do that by spelling. Who is the world's greatest magician? Watch closely. Who? W-H-O is I-S. The T-H-E. World's W-O-R-L-D apostrophe S. Greatest. G-R-E-A-T-E-S-T, magician, M-A-G-I-C-I-A-N. Well, look, they're pointing to me.
Right.
So the cards seem to think I'm qualified. But now I have to deliver. You're thinking of one card and one card only, right? Mm-hmm. Could have been any card.
Seems pretty...
Watch. One card and one card only. What was your card?
4 of Diamonds.
The 4 of Diamonds, and that is the world's greatest card trick. Thank you for Maurice, I appreciate it. Now, stick around, I was going to show you how we do this. This is one of my favorite
I don't know that I want to
tricks.
know. That was awesome.
Well, you know, I appreciate that because isn't that interesting? When we give people a magic experience, it's profound. And some people think that by telling them it helps the experience, but really it's going to take something away. And I'm going to take something away by telling you how this is done, but I'm going to give you something in return. You're going to have the ability to create that amazing feeling you just had for people for the rest of your life. And I think that's a pretty fair trade-off, right?
That's pretty cool, yeah.
This trick, believe it or not, works by itself. It's a mathematical trick. The reason this trick works so well is because not only is it a mathematical trick, but the premise is kind of funny and entertaining. Everything I do is set up to kind of make the trick seem bigger than it really is. And I'm not going to go through all those details now. You'll be able to watch the tape and see the presentation. If you just copy the lines, the trick is going to work. This is very important. You need a deck of cards that has 52 cards and only 52 cards. No more, no less. If you have less, you have more, the trick is not going to work. Okay? The whole premise of the trick is I'm setting you up to do the world's greatest magic trick. I need you to pick a card, but the way you're going to pick a card is kind of unusual, right? Most people wouldn't cut a card and remember it. So instead of doing something and have you going, well, that's weird, I take every normal way I would have you pick a card, and I talk about why that's not a good way. So by the time we get to this kind of messed up way, you're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense, doesn't it? So first I talk about you naming a card, but the problem is, you know, what if you don't think of all the cards?
Right.
I could have you pick a card like this, but I'd see it. I could have you pick a card like this, but maybe I can influence your choice. So the most fairest way is to pick a totally random card, but random in which you're under control. Now, here's where the trick works. You cut off a small group of cards, please. As long as they cut off less than 20 cards, the trick is going to work. Right. Now, how do I know he's going to do that? I say cut off a small group of cards. Cut off a deep group this time. Cut off a small group of cards. So I look at this, I'm not so sure. This feels like it may have gone a little more than 20. I would say, oh no, here, put those back. That's exactly what I want you to do, but we're going to count these cards, so we don't want to take too long. Cut off a small group, an easy group to count. So we can do a do-over if we need to, right? So I turn around, you count and remember the cards. So you can do that now, and you can tell me because we're in this together.
6.
6 cards. Simplest trick in the world at this point. I will show you the cards one card at a time from the top. You remember the 6th card. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to remember the 8 of clubs. Okay? 6. But I'm going to count to 20. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take the 20 cards that you just counted off. This is the most important part of the trick. You take the 20 cards that you just counted off and you put them underneath the cards that are left in your hand.
Okay.
Believe it or not, no matter how many cards they cut off at the beginning, their card, your card, the 8 of clubs, is now 32 cards from the top.
And that spells out.
So when I spell out who is the world's greatest magician with the apostrophe, we'll get to the 32. So I start here. I don't go this way. I start, so who? W-H-O is I-S-V-T-H-E, worlds, W-O-R-L-D apostrophe S, greatest. Now I come back here and I go outward. G-R-E-A-T-E-S-T, magician, M-A-G-I-T-I-A-N. At this point, the card which will be left on top of the packet in my hand will be your card, the 8 of clubs. And that is
just mathematical.
And it's just mathematical. If you have 52 cards, it'll work every time. But the most important part of this is getting your story so the selection procedure makes sense.
Yeah.
And we get this great build up to that final moment.
Right.
So this is a trick that you can share with all of your friends. You can tell them what a great time you have at camp each summer. If you enjoyed the magic, feel free to follow me on Instagram at austinmagician.com or check out the Udaman Brad hypnosis shirts at udamanbrad.com. I'm looking forward to seeing each of you next summer, and I hope you perform this trick many times between now and then. Thank you, and have a great winter. Bye-bye.